Welcome to Efficiency Unleashed, a seminar by InnoTractor and Energous. I'm Frank Hermans from InnoTractor. I'll be co-hosting this together with Gianpaolo Marino and Kero Basilius from Energous. So welcome. Let me introduce Energous and InnoTractor to you first. Energous is a company we have recently partnered with, and they are really specialists in the RF-based wireless charging solution space, an advanced developer for that, and we're going to hear more from that in a minute. And we like to describe ourselves as a specialist in IoT service platforms for tracking smart assets and really delivering business solutions to remove waste from supply chains, and thereby help our customers as business partner for a full life cycle of digitalization services. Let me go through the agenda first quickly with you. A small introduction of the companies, and then we're going to look at how can we really revolutionize asset tracking. We'll be going into the details also of the technologies by using wireless power over the air technology brought to you by Energous. We've been working with Willygit and Energous over the past times, and that's the result in this webinar. I would like to introduce for that Gianpaolo Marino. He's the VP of Marketing and Business Development, and also Kero Basilius, who will be leading us through the technology in product management. And after the presentation, of course, there is time for some question and answers. So let me introduce InnoTractor first to you. We're a young company based in the Netherlands, 5 years old. We all come from the high-tech industries, and we decided to start helping companies to introduce new technologies and helping them to create zero-waste supply chains. We believe by using technologies, we can actually provide the means to be more efficient and effective and thereby remove the waste. We've been co-founded from the European Union by EIT Digital, European Institute for Innovation and Technology. And now the past 5 years, we've been driving to implement technology in the companies by using the technology of IoT, blockchain, communication technologies of 5G and cloud technologies, and thereby create more efficient operations and drive for zero waste. And to underpin that, we're based in one of the greenest buildings in the south of Netherlands. Our key proposition is actually gravity. That toolbox enables us to connect to the physical world of the supply chain with sensors, actuators, and interfaces actually to the digital world. And our proposition is helping to connect that digital world to our customers' platforms. So bringing actionable data out of what's really happening in the supply chain into ERP systems, data warehouse management systems, planning systems, etc. And with that, we focus on those two elements, the physical integration, which we're going to discuss today, how we can work with Willygit and Energous in doing that, to the business layer also, what does this mean for our customers? And this is all to do with actually the digital transformation that most companies in also logistics and supply chain are into today, and where we see that most of them are in this 2, 3, and 4 boxes, where they're trying to create more connectivity with the supply chain, facilitate the visibility of what's really happening, and by seeing what's really happening, create the transparency and a real understanding of the supply chain operation, which opens up then for actually improvements, more effective and efficient operations, and further automation into maybe full AI-based self-optimizing implementations of this digitization. This is actually InnoTractor, and with that, I hand over to Gianpaolo Marino to actually introduce Energous. Go ahead, Gianpaolo.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. Yes. Very briefly, hello everyone. My name is Gianpaolo Marino. Thank you, first of all, for joining this webinar with the InnoTractor team. Myself and my colleague Kero Basilius we'll be basically taking you guys over this revolutionized way to do asset tracking using obviously Wheeler technology and Tractor. First of all, for those of you who are not familiar with Energous, what we are basically is a wireless powered network provider, and our focus is primarily on IoT, on the IoT market. Our mission and goal is to really bring unlimited power coverage to IoT devices, and of course, really help to increase data efficiency to all. We focus on enabling sustainable IoT with more flexibility, and obviously helping to get information to more and more devices and connect more and more devices. Again, it is very important to get certified for radio transmission all over the world. Therefore, our focus and goal is to work to unleash higher power, to increase the number of edge devices, and bring also elements of AI to the equation. Last but not least, I think this is also very important. We want to save the environment. Frank has stressed that out. Green, it's extremely important to us. So we do so by helping reduce the cost associated with changing disposable battery, and also reducing cost of cabling and maintenance for service. Just to give you some facts, there's about 78 million disposable batteries that are reaching landfill every day. That's equate to roughly 28 billion batteries every year. And our goal is hopefully to help eliminate most of them. By the way, Frank, I think you're not sharing the screen. If I still see at least my view on the introduction slide.
Yes, I'm not seeing the presentation as well. I'm not sure if you're sharing it, Frank.
I am sharing it.
Okay, not a problem. I think I don't see the slides here on my screen, but we can continue. Mengshi, can you please make sure that everyone here sees slides as we go through the presentation?
I see it now.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate that. No problem. Okay, great. So let me reiterate a little bit what we focus. So Energous basically focuses on three main applications, or I would say three main markets. Obviously, we partner with the leaders or the world leaders in each of this space. Again, for asset tracking, which is basically end-to-end, device tracking, we partner with Wiliot, or we leverage Wiliot technology. I'm sure most of you have heard about Wiliot. If not, Carol, will cover the details. And we also partner with system integrators like Tractor. Our goal is to basically really enable, this new world or this new technology, to market and really taking it to the next level. We are also focusing on electronic shelf label or digital display. And we also partner and focus on the IoT sensor space. In that regards, we work with, or we partner with companies like Sensirion and AMS Osram. Next slide. So in terms of interoperability, I think it is important to distinguish, Energous focus versus other existing wireless charging or wireless power technology that are existing today. If you look at basically existing technology like NFC charging or inductive charging, these technologies are focused primarily on very short distance. Typically, they cover millimeter up to like centimeters. This is not our focus and goal for Energous. Our focus and goal is to cover meters. In fact, within our Tractor and Wheeler technology, we can actually cover up to 15 meters, meaning our technology can charge up Wheeler tags up to 15 meters and beyond. So this is very important to make that distinction, because we are not a content charging company. We focus on distance, really enabling power to travel over distance, right? So in that regards, we also work very closely with the Airfuel Alliance, and with the Airfuel Alliance, Energous has basically developed, the interoperability standard that defines basically how power needs to travel over distance, okay? So if you move to the next slide, Frank, please. So let's really highlight some of the current challenges, that we see today in asset tracking. The first one that we've heard over and over and over is basically tag readability, right? Unfortunately, existing RFID solution or RFID tags lack from basically coverage and sensitivity, which basically doesn't give the end user the opportunity or the ability to read the tag, basically 100% of the time. Typically, you have a coverage of about 90%, maybe 88%. And that's a problem because, again, you're losing basically about 10% yield. The second one is the total cost of ownership. It is expensive to basically establish existing RFID technology because it's not just about the tag, but it's also about the infrastructure, the readers, the infrastructure that you need to basically install is extremely, extremely expensive. The third challenge is obviously limiting sensing capability, right? We all know that RFID is a passive technology, and it's a technology that you need to basically interrogate, to basically determine, some level of information. So the market doesn't need that today. The market needs, on-time sensing capabilities, understanding of how an asset is basically traveling from point A to point B, and basically the interim travel of the asset. And last but not least, as I mentioned before, there is a problem of sustainability, right? With disposable battery. We know that a part of RFID uses obviously disposable battery, and disposable batteries are bad for the environment. As a matter of fact, I've learned that by 2027, the European Union will ban basically disposable battery from being used. So what is the solution? What is the solution to all this problem? Well, we'll show that on the next slide. So the solution is really to revolutionize asset tracking, right? So really look for a different way, to basically manage and track an asset as it moves, from different point. Again, how can we expand coverage, reducing the cost of additional information will be shown, to the next slide. And again, but today, our goal and our focus is to really expand coverage, to really reduce cost, right, to add additional information, because now with building technology, we have sensing capability that can give us data related to temperature, humidity, and obviously, last but not least, eliminate disposable battery. But all that will be shown to you by Frank and Innotractor on the next slide, so stay tuned. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Gianpaolo. Yes, and actually to underpin that, before we go actually into the details of the technology and the next steps, let's examine a number of the business cases and customer cases that are driving for this. So all of them is really about, as we saw before, getting more insights, more data availability out of the process. That will lead to the information, and with that, it's the ultimate goal to create value in our customers' environment. So 4 use cases as examples here. We see a lot happening now in the returnable transport items ecosystem. So more and more circularity is needed in the transport items, from pallets, crates, dollies, boxes. All of those items need to be much more trackable, traceable, and thereby can be used in all kinds of closed loops and pooling type of systems. Because also it's not about the value of the returnable transport item itself, but each returnable transport item actually carries a product and carries value from A to B. So connecting those flows of transport items with the actual product flows creates a value actually to the people operating or using the supply chains there. It shows accountability, where a product is, where the returnable transport items is, if they're still the same, how fast do they flow, etc. Similar, we have the packaging ecosystems that are emerging now. It's not only batteries that are going to be banned, but also plastics are going to be banned. So single-use plastics is one of the items that's going to be banned with a single-use plastics directive in Europe, for instance, starting January 1st, 2024 already. And this becomes then also an item for how can we actually make sure that we can have more reusable packaging systems in food services, but also in all kinds of packaging of products that are being transported to customers, which can be boxes, it can be even the flower boxes there, and it can be all kinds of items that need to be reused, regained actually back, maybe even washed again and made possible for reuse. So that's a real circular system of packaging that is emerging now as new business models in these industries. That's in the horticulture, in the food services, the flower industries, and also in agriculture. More and more of those ecosystems are emerging. And then, of course, it's having a real-time view of what's available in my warehouse where. The big question, what's in my ERP system, is that really also in my warehouse? That's one of the items that is continuously coming back for not only warehouse management operators, but also people that want to manage the flow of a supply chain when it's coming into a warehouse and when it is leaving my warehouse. And with that, have a real-time inventory control possibility there. We have customers, for instance, that have stock under consignment at customer premises, which they really want to manage full time, and also be able to bill when that stock is actually being used, for instance. And last but not least, if you really have this intelligence that you can see what item, what product or returnable transport item is where in the supply chain, it can actually enable you to automate the processes that come with it, from actually handover moments, from transporter to a warehouse, to the creation of automatic proof of delivery when it's handed over to a customer. And to just actually demonstrate that, one of our examples with the customers is a real-time reception area in a warehouse where trucks are being unloaded, where many different pallets and boxes are being moved in this site. We've automated this actually with using the technology of Wiliot and Energous and our cloud backend to have a resilient reception area that automatically registrates what comes into this area when. And we did so by actually, if we zoom into that, creating a very simplified infrastructure where you see the green boxes that are actually the Energous bridges, and they are picking up the signals of the different tags on the boxes and the pallets. And with that, we have a real-time view actually of what's coming in and out of such a reception area. And just to underpin that with this customer-specific cases, we had cases where it saved them 1.5 hours of actually RFID or barcode scanning of one truck being unloaded. And having this data directly available actually for the warehouse management system to control further in the whole process. And you can see that what was underpinned before, it's really a simple and very cost-effective data infrastructure that's independent actually from its environment. It communicates directly back with our cloud. So also for the IT managers in this plant, this was also really something that I said, well, very helpful, because we don't want that integration into our IT systems or security type of setup specifically for these type of applications. That's how we actually then try to do this from several areas. So whether it's the reception area of a warehouse, but it can also be, like you see in the right-hand picture, the real-time inventory of a production site that can be then controlled what is being used where, so that replenishment can take place in time. And there's never a shortage of stock so that production can continue. That's how we try to contribute, of course, to the sustainability goals, have a very effective and efficient supply chain where no time, products or energy is actually lost. And with that, of course, you create automatic efficiency gains and less risk actually in the whole supply chains. More and more, we see also the driving forces that there's a lack of resources, of people. And one of the good stories here is by testing this out with customers, we actually got very good feedback from the people on the work floor saying, well, this really helps us. So now we really can focus on the added value in our work instead of the more direct work that is maybe even error prone as well if we have to do the scanning ourselves. So the embracement of these solutions by the people on the floor is also very high. And of course, we get more and more the legislative pressure, whether it's a single plastic use directive, whether it's CO2 registrations, or we are working now in the building industries also with the nitro pressure on the environment. Everything needs registration and needs data information. And that's how we've built such a solution in a scalable and secure way, where from pixel to bridge, actually to the cloud, we can facilitate this end-to-end view where you have position information, you have your asset information, and you even have a timeline and ledger what actually is happening throughout the supply chain. And that gives you all the information to really analyze what's going and also be able to improve for there. And with this solution, we saw that we can use it in rigid environments until -20, no problems with actually reading distances. So if you take the right attention to setting up such an environment, it gives you really a resilient environment to use. And so far we've seen in weeks of operation actually 0 misreads actually from this situation as well. And that builds trust actually for our customers to tackle their challenges, to build their ecosystems, not only in their own warehouse, but also their partners in transport and production to embrace the solutions. And thereby you can actually create speed in the digitalization adoption, whether it's with your partners or with your workforce itself. And it's also overcoming technical challenges where you see, for instance, with traditional RFID or NFC type of measurements where distance, costly infrastructure and resilience as well as trustworthiness are something that the usage of Bluetooth as a well-tested and available infrastructure and technology makes it possible to create these solutions. And now I hand over back to Eric, because he can describe actually much better than I the exact technology from Energous, what makes this possible. Oh, to Kero. Sorry, Kero. I can't hear you, Kero. You're on mute.
Thanks about that. Thanks a lot, Frank and Gianpaolo. Hello, everyone. Pleased to be here and pleased to introduce to you our ecosystem. So we're using a Wiliot-based ecosystem that works with passive RF tags. We call these passive RF tags pixels. And this is an example. I don't know if you can see my screen. This is an example of a pixel tag. It's flexible. You can stick it on your assets that in your warehouse environment that you're trying to track. These pixels must be energized over the air. So these tags are equipped with 2 separate energy harvesting interfaces, and this works with the sub 1 gigahertz band as well as 2.4 gigahertz for data communication. In order to achieve optimal performance of these tags, we use Energous power transmitter. And this is an example of the Energous power transmitter. We install it in the environment. These power bridges sends energy over the air to wirelessly power and energize these tags. So once the tags accumulates enough energy, it's capable of waking up its systems and interrogating the sensor and send a beacon of data over BLE link. The BLE link is usually sent over very low signal. Our power bridges or the Energous power bridges receive the faint signal and amplify it. And if we can go to the next slide, please, Frank. So the Energous on the right here, so this is a picture of the Energous power bridge, and on the left, this is an internal picture of the pixel tag. So on the right, this is our transmitter. It sends RF energy continuously over the UHF band and 2.4 gigahertz. As I mentioned, the RF tag or the pixel tag receives the energy, harvests this energy, and sends a beacon of data back to the transmitter. The data has sent, each pixel has a unique identifier, as well as sensor data that is usually encrypted, and then it's getting transmitted to and amplified through our power bridge to go back to the cloud. The distance between the transmitter and the receiver can go up to 15 meters. So it can cover, it can have a wide coverage to cover long distances. If you can go to the next slide. So the BLE signal is broadcast again over the pixel tags. These are usually weak signals. It gets echoed through our power bridge, and then it's relayed to the cloud via an access point or a BLE to Wi-Fi hub. I think maybe next slide. Let me think. Oh, sorry, the slide before, 2 slides before.
This one back, yeah.
Overall solution. Yep. Once in the cloud, the data is made accessible to the end user over an MQTT broker. The MQTT is an IoT specific protocol. It's built on the top of the Internet protocol stack or REST API. In order to work properly, all these subsystems, the pixel, which is this RF passive tag, the power bridges, and the gateway must be registered under a Wiliot account. And Energous have a thorough step-by-step guide for the setup that maybe we can paste in the chat as we speak. InnoTractor provides an IoT service platform that resides on the top of the Wiliot cloud and enables the end user to connect their assets, their warehouse assets, to the cloud, so we can make sense of or interpret these information in a way that helps in the warehouse daily tasks and flows. And so basically, just to summarize, the Wiliot ecosystem and the Energous solution consists of two pieces. A pixel tag, it's very flexible. It goes into your assets for tracking. It gets energized over UHF by our Energous power transmitter. And it can go up to 15 meters of distance. And we can relay the data echoed back from each of the pixels to the cloud. And that's back to you, Frank. Oh, I'm sorry, a couple more slides.
Yep.
The next one. It's important to note that Energous have these devices, have our power bridges certified across the world. We have over 110 countries certified. We have certified our power bridges in 110 countries, and including US, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and Asia. If you're interested in learning more about the possibilities of the technologies, please, it's important to get your hands on some of these products and get to experiment with it yourselves. For this reason, we have an entry evaluation kit that you can purchase now. This kit usually comes with 50 of these tags and a few or 4 power bridges, 4 devices of these power bridges that you can immediately buy and install in your warehouse for testing to understand how the technologies work, get familiar with our new technology. And these kits are available today via Energous or InnoTractor.
Yeah, to add to that, Kiro, we've built a demonstrator service catalog around it, demonstrating the use cases in supply chains, how you can actually do zone detections, real-time inventory management, and actually event logging of what is really happening in the cases, so that you can very quickly build proof of concepts or pilots with for yourself or with your customers.
Absolutely, and the cost of having a real-time ability to track the inventory is important from a day-to-day activities, and the infrastructure cost for our technology is quite affordable.
So thank you, Kiro. Just a summary of the revolutionary offering. I think what we found actually that with using Bluetooth as a well-proven technology and applying this printed electronics on tags, it opens up new use cases. As we said, it ranges from distances, batteryless solutions, efficiency handling in processes, low-cost infrastructures, and direct cloud availability of your data to actually build and support your services. With that, we can see it's more robust as well, and also Wi-Fi connectivity. And it offers also, and not to forget that, direct temperature sensing and humidity sensing through the different sensors. So you not only see where it is, you don't only see the identity, but even certainly in food or pharma type of supply chains, the direct temperature monitoring or humidity monitoring of the products. And that sensoring we will see expanded in the future much more. So that really is in the next level of wireless powered IoT based solutions there. With that, I'm opening up actually for Q&A, and I hope we begin giving you quite of a view